Welcome everybody to 100 days of Minecraft hardcore in a one block world. That's right, the legendary one block. If you guys are familiar, my boy A Cookie God did a 100 days in one block ages ago. And then I also did 100 days in an ocean world. And then we both were like, hey, let's trade worlds. And then he did an ocean world. And then, well, I never did one block. So here I am today surviving 100 days in one block. In this world, I'm not going to have the luxuries of being able to run around and going to all the different structures in a normal Minecraft world. Instead, I'm confined to this one block. So I'm gonna have to mine through 10 different phases to get to the end to be able to slay the dragon. And if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, make sure you guys smash that like button to let me know you enjoyed it, because this video was a ton of work. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button because most of you guys actually aren't even subscribed, and it's free. So if you guys want to unsubscribe later, that's totally fine. But for now, let's get into 100 days of one block. Luckily for me, I'm a bit of a legend when it comes to one block. I mean, did have a whole series of it on my channel. Basically, the way it works is you spawn in on one block. Get it? Well, anyways, you got to risk your life by breaking this one block to be able to continue to get more blocks. And now we all know how it goes. Oh, and then there's also some special chests every now and then. And right now, I'm basically just going through the tutorial phase, and the tutorial tried to make an example that animals will spawn. So I made an example out of the pig. But shortly after, the block tried to get revenge and make an example out of me, because the god block gave me a water bucket, which means I had to swim underneath it to be able to place a block underneath it so that then I could be able to save all the sand and gravel and stuff and keep it from falling. And luckily for me, I wasn't even close to dying, because man, that would have been embarrassing. But since mobs are going to be spawning soon, I figured I'd expand the small platform a bit and get back to work on this tutorial phase, which didn't take long because the god block gave me another chest that sounded like my worst nightmares. And then after that chest, the plains biome phase began, which is basically the same stuff as the tutorial, just with some nasty birch. Yeah, it wasn't long into this phase when the god block decided to give me a second chance at being a pig farmer. So I bridged out and pushed him all the way onto his own little safe space for now so that he won't get in the way. But almost immediately afterwards, some mommy milkers showed up. Such a dumb joke. And it's pretty clear that a lot of animals are going to be spawning and making me mauled in this 100 days, so I decided to waste some birch, build all the way back out to the pig, and build out a small little dirt platform for all the animals. Oh, would you look at that? The sun's already going down, and since I can't sleep, I have no other choice but to stay up all night. Pretty quick into the night, the god block wanted to taunt me by giving me a sheep, since I can't make any shears yet until I get to the cave phase where I get iron. So I pushed it over to the animal island and got back to work on the block, which I was greeted by 2 chickens. And since chickens are self-sustainable, I decided to do a little bit of an experiment and push one of them off the edge and see how long it takes for it to vanish into the void. The answer is a while. It takes a while. That's all. Then I was greeted by another pig and then more chickens, which it's already getting a little crowded over here. So, then I was given another cow, and well, I could use another one of those, but it looks like my little chickpea wasn't too happy about me wanting to keep a cow and not another chicken friend, and you'll get over it. But finally, at almost the end of the night, I managed to get another sheep, which is definitely going to be clutch. And to finally start off day 2, I was given some more chickens. Like seriously, why so many chickens? I decided to spare one of them for Chickpea to have a friend, and then the other one, well, another experiment, I guess. Then I continued to smack the god block for majority of day 2. My goal was to basically not build much of the base until I got more stone. I don't want to make the entire thing out of wood and then it just magically catches on fire one day and then the whole base is gone. But while mining the block, it decided to give me some grass, which is definitely going to be coming in handy, and it's pretty important for the sheep. The only problem is that I have to figure out where to put it where they're not going to eat it yet until it spreads. But now it's finally on to phase 2, the underground. And then slapping that block with a lot of motivation now, because with cobblestone, I could be able to make a cobblestone pick and then a furnace, mine up some iron, and now cook the iron so that I could finally make some shears and give some haircuts. Then I realized at some point I accidentally placed a pumpkin down on my base. When did I do this? But not long after, though, world hunger was solved, and by that I mean my hunger, because I eat as much as the entire world. All right, yeah, I got a mushroom. That's what I'm saying. All right, I got a mushroom. But then I got another one, and so now world hunger is actually solved. These guys produce way too much food. They're actually so OP. So you're welcome for solving that world hunger issue. And I pretty much just spent the rest of the day just breaking the god block until some zombies spawned. So I slapped him around and he dropped me this drippy helmet. So now I had to flex on all the animals, of course. In days 3 to 4, I start off by mining the god block for a little bit to be able to get a bunch more stone. That is until a bunch of rabbits spawned, and you guys know my editor Jake likes rabbits, so I think it'd be wise of me not to do anything with them. Besides, one of them wanted to sit on the warm furnace, which was honestly kind of cute, I'm not gonna lie. That is until it got scared and jumped off. Well, anyways, I'm working on expanding the base now. I plan on building upwards and away from the blocks so that whenever mobs spawn, the rest of my base will be safe later on. So finally, after building up all the staircases, I wanted to build out a big circle for all my animal pens. That is after a couple design errors and a lot of wasted stone. Then I began building out the giant platform. But while building out the platform, I ran out of stone and I had to go mine the god block for some more. And that's when suddenly 2 Spider-Men showed up, and they're in the wrong multiverse. So they gotta go. But then 2 more zombies also spawned, and I decided to play Ring Around the Rosie with them and slap them around. And afterwards, I finished building up the entire circle. Now it's time to just fill it all in with dirt, which after placing all my dirt, I might have overestimated how big this circle could really be because I only had enough dirt to fill up half of this entire thing. But half should be big enough for now. Then I spent a lot of time, well, more time than I probably should have, trying to map out all the fences for all the animal pens. And finally on day 6, it's time to move all the animals over to their new homes. That's when I realized I can't really lure any animals over, other than a chicken, since I do have wheat seeds. So after getting the chicken into his pen, I planted down some wheat seeds, and now it's just a waiting game. But while waiting for them to grow, it's getting a little cramped over here, so I decided to chop down this oak tree and get out of the way. Oh yeah, and then I almost lost it all to a creeper that spawned in while I was mining the 1 block. Yep, almost happened. And then shortly after that creeper, though, the fashion police showed up and gave me a new hat to wear since this one had way better durability than mine. So that was nice of them. And later on, some more bunnies spawned. This time they didn't immediately jump off the edge, which was a nice change of pace. Then I got a chest with some spruce saplings in it, which actually made me realize that if I got more spruce saplings, I could grow a mega tree. So I went and chopped down my spruce tree to be able to get some more saplings, and then I kind of just sat around and waited. And I never ended up getting a sapling. Like, can you believe that? I chopped down a whole spruce tree and I didn't get a single sapling. Anyways, on day 7, I started off like any other, hitting the 1 block. Yep, that's this game mode. I really wanted to expand the base some more, but to be able to do that, I'm going to need to get a whole lot of cobblestone. And a lot less creepers, that is. But finally, after doing a bit of mining, I managed to get some more spruce saplings, which means I can actually grow a big boy tree. I also collected a whole lot more dirt, which means I can finish filling in the animal platform. Well, that is once I get even more dirt. Which luckily now we're on to the next phase, Icy Tundra. Which I'll be able to get plenty of dirt out of that, and snow, and ice. And unfortunately some cold bony boys tried stealing my warm flesh. But while slapping my 5 head against the 1 block, I actually had a realization. I can make coarse dirt by combining dirt and with all the useless gravel. This entire time I've just had tons of gravel for literally no reason, but now I finally have a reason. So after combining all the dirt into coarse dirt and then turning all that coarse dirt into regular dirt, I used the dirt to fill in all the holes for the dirt in the platform, and now it's a dirt platform. Whew, that's a lot of dirt. Day 8, I started off by bone mealing some wheat so then I could be able to finally lure all my animals into their pens. But after separating the sheeps and the cows, yes, 1 cow, because at some point I lost 2 mushrooms and another cow. So now I've already lost my most sustainable food source in this world. Then I pretty much just spent the rest of the day sulking in tears. No, I mean, setting up fences for all the future animals that are going to be coming in. Day 9, we're back to slapping the block around. That is until 2 strays spawned in and they decided to fight over my love. But unfortunately, the winner gets an axe in the face. Shortly after, I got an ice block. Now, I can't really remember which ice block it is that melts down into water, unless they're kind of all sitting next to each other, and then I could tell them apart. So I tried melting the ice block down into water so I could be able to make an infinite water source, but it turns out it's packed ice. Not the right ice that I need. So it's back to mining until I got some gold ore for the first time, which now means I'm actually going to have to start using my iron. So I can be able to craft up an iron pickaxe and I can be able to mine this thing. I've been kind of just hoarding all of my iron for a rainy day, and now it's coming in clutch. And then not long after, a winter fox spawned. It was very cute. And I was debating giving it the hands or not because it stole a cobblestone block from me. So I tried to trade a sword so that, you know, I mean, it could be able to fend for itself. And I thought it would be kind of funny, I gotta be honest. Then it ran into the animal pen and decided to eat chickpea. No! Can I get an F in the comments for chickpea? I decided to let him live for now because he's definitely going to be suffering later, trust me. But then I remembered I also still had some chicken eggs left over from chickpea, so now everyone meet Chickpea 2.0. He'll grow into a stronger, faster, and far more attractive chicken than Chickpea ever was. And to close out the day, I decided to start building up a new circle platform where I'm going to start growing all my trees. And on day 10, I started filling in that platform with a bunch of spruce slabs. I plan on changing the entire base to spruce as the primary wood, but it's looking kind of gross mixing it with the oak wood right now, I gotta be honest. I only ended up having enough slabs to fill in half the circle, which is honestly plenty of room right now because all I needed to do was grow a 165-foot absolute alpha tree to be able to chop it down and get enough wood to be able to finish off the rest of the platform. But I forgot chopping down these trees take an insane amount of time, and I realized that it's already the end of the day. But since I got plenty of wood now, I'm just gonna need a whole lot more cobblestone to be able to expand the base. So I started off the day by hitting the 1 block until I got a chest with an ice block in it. So I placed down the ice block with some torches next to it and patiently waited for it to melt, which actually didn't take long at all. So I scooped up the water and made an infinite water pool. So now I'll always have water in this world. Afterwards, I got back to work on the 1 block, but it wasn't too long into it until I started having inventory issues again. So I decided to set up a temporary storage system and sort out all the items, so it'll be easier to clean up later too. And with an empty inventory, it was time to get back to breaking the 1 block. That is until I got a new woofer. Now, if you guys follow me on social media, which honestly, I don't know why you guys wouldn't, you know, right? But you would know I recently got a dog and I named him Winston. So my in-game dog is going to be named after my boy Winston. But it seems like Winston brought our first monster party with him. Luckily, he scared the strays right off the edge and I was able to easily outsmart the zombies. If all the monster parties are going to be like this is going to be too easy. Well, that is also after I make some armor. But now it's time to expand the base more. I began building out our next circle platform. And honestly, I'm proud of myself. I've never really made anything this symmetrical in Skyblock before. Normally, all the platforms are different shapes and different sizes, and it looks really ugly. Unfortunately though, I ran out of cobblestone, so back to beating the block for the rest of the day. And on day 13, it's time to finish off this platform. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm going to use this thing for yet, but like I said, I'm going to try to commit to the spruce as the primary wood color for the floor, so I just continue to fill in the circle with tons of spruce slabs. After that, I decided I was getting pretty tired of mixing all the woods, so I decided to chop down the old stairs and get rid of all the oak and replace it with spruce as well. And honestly, I think it's been looking pretty good. Day 14, I started off by building a dirt bridge that attaches to the animal farm because I realized they haven't had grass over there this entire time. And while doing that, I also realized what I want to use the new platform for. A mob grinder, because, well, I don't really have one of those, and those things are awesome. But that is after I finish up with this icy tundra phase because I'm honestly tired of it. But while mining, another woofer spawned, and I accidentally spanked it, and unfortunately I had to put it down. But Winston didn't seem too happy about that. He kept growling at me while I was mining the 1 block. So I gave him a snack and he was less angry. And after spending the entire day mining the 1 block, the icy tundras has finally ended and begins the ocean phase. Day 15, I spent the entire time just chopping down trees because if I want to build out a mob grinder, it's definitely going to be out of wood since that's the most easiest resource I can be able to get. The only downside is I have a lot of spruce wood, which, I mean, if I build it out of spruce and then the floor is also spruce, it's going to look really ugly. So I set up a dedicated area where I'm going to grow a bunch of oak trees and play Lumberjack Simulator, so I can be able to get plenty of wood for this project. But now it was time to build up this mob grinder, and it's a pretty standard mob grinder that I'm sure pretty much everyone's familiar with. I just towered up about 21 blocks or so that all the mobs will break their legs when they fall down the hole. And I bridged out 8 blocks where I'm going to be placing all the water for the mobs to funnel into. Afterwards, I had to build up the platforms for all the mobs to be able to spawn on. And then I ran out of wood, so it was back to chopping down trees for me. But after getting more wood, all I needed to do was build up some more walls and slab off the roof. Well, and then, yeah, also place down water and trapdoors. And yeah, this thing's actually a lot more work than I remember. But with our newly built mob grinder, I discovered my newly found addiction. I pretty much spent the whole day smacking the mob grinder. The axe was pretty inefficient since it doesn't have sweeping edge, so I decided to make an iron sword, which the investment honestly worked out because I immediately got 2 iron from slaying zombies. So overall, I'm really happy with this project. I also did notice that way too many mobs are dying from falling, so I decided to raise up the platform just a little bit, and now it seems to be working much better. In day 22, I started off by getting rid of the grass bridge that went up to the animal zoo, because now finally grass is spreading over there. But I'm starting to get a new crisis on my hands, and that is not having enough food, which is definitely going to be a big issue on this world. So I'm definitely going to need to start a farm soon. But first, I'm going to need to hit the 1 block to see if I can be able to get some cobblestone. I mean, this is the ocean phase, and so instead I got a turtle. So I pushed him over to the zoo and I set him up his own private little bathtub so that he'll be able to hang out and enjoy life. I'll probably build him a fish tank later on. Shortly after, a squid spawned in and I couldn't really do anything to help him. And he looked like he was suffering, so I tried to put him down. And I think I just made it worse, I gotta be honest. And apparently at some point while mining, I got my first diamond. I didn't even notice because I was just in the zone and I was punching that thing. Then after I got back to work on that 1 block, a drown spawned. He seemed friendly, but he couldn't stay long because he had other places to go to. Then after I rescued a few fish, it started thundering, and I hate thunder, so that's the end of the day. But on day 23, I used what little cobblestone I had and I started working on the bridge where I'm going to be building out my farm. But I hate the idea of building it all out without having an outline. So I went back to trying to get some cobblestone from the one block. That is until the pufferfish gang spawned in, and I decided to only spare one because, well, the other one was rude and he poisoned me. Then I thought it would be a great idea to see if the pufferfish would fight the fox that slayed Chickpea. But the pufferfish got scared and jumped off the edge, so the fox lives another day. And then some more fish spawned in, and well, yeah, that's kind of it. Nothing else really happened today. But on day 24, I had the realization that I've already gotten a bunch of bones from the mob grinder, which I could then use to turn into bone meal and make tons of food with it. I don't know why I'm this dumb and it took me this long to realize it. At least now I'm not going to be starving while I'm working on the farm. Then I closed off the day by smacking the mob grinder to get some more bones. But I didn't just get bones, I also got some potatoes and carrots. So you could say this farm is going to be pretty thick. But day 25, this is my last attempt at getting cobble from the ocean phase before I give up. But I also noticed I haven't had a monster party in a little while, so I decided to cage in the one block, see if anything spawns in and it'll get stuck. Well, I mean, it worked on this turtle, so I mean, that's great so far. Shortly after moving the turtle, a monster party actually did spawn in, and it included some elder guardians with miner's fatigue, which is honestly pretty toxic. But as you can tell, the cage system didn't work at all. Luckily though, all the fish flopped right into the void, so that's easy. And then they left behind some senior citizens that seemed a little lost and didn't know where they were. I tried to help them, but honestly they wouldn't move when I pushed them, and it was just, I don't have the patience for this. So I had to get rid of them, which honestly worked out because I actually got a Triton out of it anyways. Days 26 to 29, it's time to finally give up on getting cobblestone, yay! Instead, I'm just going to build the outline out of spruce planks for now. Then I'll just swap it over to stone later. After building out the outline, I realized I'm going to need a whole lot more dirt, which luckily I still have some gravel, so I used that dirt to make more dirt, and then filled in all that dirt into the actual giant circle. After that, I tilled the fields and I set up all my water spots. But then I was going to need a lot more bones for the crops, so then I could be able to have the entire thing growing at one time. So I pretty much just spent an entire day just doing that. But after getting all those bones, it was finally time to plant all my crops. And you already know half this field is just going to be potatoes by themselves. And then just a small spot for carrots, and then the rest will just be wheat seeds. So now I won't be starving. Well, soon that is, once this is all grown. And on day 30, it started out just like any other day by hitting the mob farm and then went straight to farming the one block because I'm desperate for some cobblestone and I'm really eager to get out of this ocean phase. But instead, I just got some more drowns. I like doing 360s in my farm. I don't like them doing 360s in my farm, so I had to get rid of them. Then some dolphins spawned in to try to break my focus, but I'm completely unfazed by them because I'm determined to finish the ocean phase. Okay, but then some guardians spawned in. Yeah, that definitely broke my focus. Those guys are way too strong. They're a little too scary, but then they take care of themselves anyway, so it's all right. But then finally we finished the ocean phase and we were on to the jungle, which so far it seems like a literal cobblestone generator. I'm just getting nothing but cobblestone. It's like a dream come true. So on day 31, I literally beat the crud out of that one block. If it was willing to give me cobblestone, I was willing to take it. But then I got interrupted by some of these red chickens, so I gave them some seeds and pushed them off to the side. But then it was back to the cobblestone generator for the rest of the day. But I realized with this new phase, that means that there's gonna be another monster party soon, so I spent the rest of the day building up a bigger, better cage to contraption to be able to trap in all the mobs inside whenever they spawn in. Well, trap everything but Vexes, it seems. Day 32, I'm back to hitting the one block until I got some cat. He ran over to the animal pen and it looked like he wanted some justice for Chickpea and wanted to fight the fox. So I opened up the gate and the fox ran out, and then he tried to run over to Chickpea 2.0. And I wasn't gonna have any of that, so I had to finally put him down. And then to finish off the day on a high note, I got Jack Black the panda. He's a little thick, so I had to break down some walls, and it took forever to push him all the way over into his pen, but he seems happy now. Day 33 and 35, I'm running out of food, and I'm tired of waiting for all the crops to grow, so I'm giving them some of that juice to make them bigger and stronger. But farming's hard work and time consuming, so I can't wait until I get some redstone so I can be able to make some automated farms. Afterwards, I crafted up a smoker so I could be able to smoke all my potatoes. And then after getting thick on all that food, I began building a storage room because I'm tired of running out of chest space, and I also got a big empty area over near the mob grinder, so I began construction. I wanted to try to keep to the theme to the one block cage since it looked pretty snazzy to me. The storage room didn't need to be too fancy, and I mean honestly it was probably gonna be temporary because while building this up I had to listen to all the mobs the entire time and it was just driving me insane. But after putting up with all that moaning and groaning, the storage room was finally done. And now on day 36, it's time to set up a bunch of chests and move everything into the new storage room. Yeah, honestly it was a pretty boring day. Nothing to really talk about. That's not the only boring day because on day 37 Okay, or maybe we don't talk about how unproductive day 37 was. And then on day 38, I started off by smacking the mob grinder like normal because this thing keeps getting backed up and I wish there was an on-off switch for it. And then I went back to the one block to get tons of cobblestone for our base renovations. That is until some witches spawned in, and luckily the cage was super effective. But then after those witches spawned in, I got a chest with a llama spawn egg. Not entirely sure why I didn't just spawn the llama, but I mean, all right, I'm leaving this in so you guys know that that's how I got the egg, all right? Then some horses appeared and then I took them over to the zoo, but it's honestly getting a little full in there and I'm running out of animal pins. Then while mining, some more red chickens spawned in, and then I'm just gonna ignore them as long as they stay out of my way, which they didn't. But other than gold and diamonds and some delicious cobblestone, nothing else really happened today. It was a pretty chill day. But now that I got some cobblestone, it was time to work on the base. I wanted to add some bridges connecting the mob grinder to the tree farm and all the animal pens, so I don't have to run all the way down through the one block cage every single time I want to get to each section. And honestly, the bridges helped my sanity a lot. I'm glad that I ended up doing this. And I wanted to try to speed run through this phase of the one block so I can be able to get a bunch of resources. Since I'm getting a lot of cobblestone out of this, I want to start making a base soon. But the one block didn't want me to go too quick, so it spawned in a monster party. Yep. Which was honestly pretty easy though, because the cage was super effective other than on the Vexes, which one of them floated down into the void and disappeared anyways. But then afterwards, I actually did manage to see the Vex floating around, and I wasn't gonna let him stick around because last thing I want is him sneaking up on me and pushing me into the void. But then I got back to work and mining, and some more Vex spawned in, and now I'm convinced the one block's just trying to troll me. But then it also apologized because it gave me another panda, so I'll accept its apology. And of course it started to hate me again, and it gave me some witches, but this time it got a little dicey, I'm not gonna lie. They managed to hit me with some of that juice, so then I started to play back a little bit and try to run away, but then I realized I left one of the doors open to the cage, so a witch got out and it started chasing me. This was honestly the closest I've been to death in a hardcore world in a really long time. Luckily though, potatoes cure everything, so I came back and I just deleted them. And finally, by the end of the day, it was also the end of the phase. And then the one block also gave me some bamboo and sugarcane, which is pretty nice of it. And finally, the next phase began, the red desert, which I'm assuming that just actually means mesa biome. But it was finally time to start working on an actual base, now that I got all that cobblestone. Well, that is after I also clapped the mob grinder, because again, it's just filling up. I wanted to build my base in the center above the one block. I wanted to try to match the theme of the cage, so then it's all just one kind of cohesive thing. But the cage is pretty skinny, which means I'm gonna have a very small base, so I had to really try to finesse how I'm gonna build this base to make it so that I have enough room to be able to actually live in this thing, have storage and have rooms and stuff like that. Like, I gotta have a kitchen. Come on now, you guys know me. You know I like to eat good. So far the layout I think is there. I mean, I'm really vibing with this thing. Well, the only thing that sucks is, well, that I ran out of cobblestone again, so I wasn't able to fully finish the base yet, so that means I'm not moving in just yet. But I'm definitely vibing with the design so far. Comment down below, what you guys thinking? And since I'm in need of some cobble, I have no other choice but to beg the one block and hope it gives me some, which I don't think is gonna happen out of the red desert. But it did give me another llama, which I didn't keep him. Then it gave me two foxes, which one got out and ran straight for the animal pen like always, where it jumped into the cage with my sheep and I accidentally clapped him. My sheep! I literally can't get a break with these foxes. They've just ruined everything for me. But then I finally did have some luck with the one block and it gave me a villager, and his name was already Lewis, so I gave him a new home. Ah, don't worry, this home's only temporary. Maybe. Day 51. I started off by harvesting all my crops now that the entire field is looking fully grown and voluptuous. But honestly, this thing could look much better. So after harvesting up all the crops, I decided to plant the entire field just full of potatoes. Like, come on now, it's potatoes. They literally are the best food in Minecraft. Come on. Oh yeah, and then also I had to feed my red chimkins because they looking kind of hungry. Afterwards, I moved on to cleaning out the mob grinder, and then the day was already over. But now it's time to start grinding on the one block, because we're more than halfway to 100 days and I'm still stuck on the red desert phase, which is not good. That, and I want to finish working on my base, which I'm going to need a whole lot more cobblestone for. But while mining, a depressed villager showed up and wanted to be friends, and I'm going to name him Peter. Peter didn't seem like there was any sort of problem with him, so I just let him hang out. Afterwards, Wanda showed up and offered me some pretty disrespectful trades, so yeah. And then after that, I got myself a donkey. I thought about not keeping him, but then you know, I do have an open pen inside the zoo, so I figured why not. Wait a second, why do I have an open pen? Wait, where's Chickpea? Are you kidding me? Chickpea 2.0 is also gone? When did it happen? Now I'm completely chickenless. And now with that bad news, I went to go take my anger out on the one block, and then also some more donkeys. And then Peter's friends showed up, and honestly I can see why he's so depressed, 'cause these dudes are just so mean. Then on day 53, a monster party showed up. Luckily all the mobs were trapped, so it wasn't too hard to clear them all out. And then Peter's cousin Parker, I think that's my second Spider-Man joke this video, I'm pretty original. Anyways, Parker wouldn't move, so so unfortunately he had to go. Afterwards, Scott the Wandering Trader showed up to sell me some ice, and I don't know if I had any ice at the time, so I decided to buy one, and then I thanked him. Not too long after Scott left, Frida the Villager showed up. I took her over to hang out with Lewis, and it seems like they're getting along pretty nicely. And honestly, the last thing really worth noting for this phase is just that I got a Strider spawn egg. And again, I'm not sure why I got an egg instead of it just actually spawning. But finally, at the end of day 54, the phase was over. This definitely felt like the longest phase so far. It was definitely my least favorite. But now we're on to the nether phase, which means I'm not going to get any cobblestone. And almost immediately into hitting the 1 block, some oinkers showed up. And I wanted to see if they'd transform, and yep, they did, yeah. And after those piglins spawned, I was pretty worried about my villagers. So I made their temporary home a bit safer. And then I had them, you know, start doing the hanky-panky, just in case if anyone goes missing, like Chickpea did. Then it was time to get started on that 1 block again, which I already started getting some ancient debras and some obsidian, which means I'm actually going to be able to travel to the nether soon. Then the first chest that showed up had a Ravager spawn egg. This time I'm glad it gave me the egg instead of actually spawning the mob, so that's relief. Then I got my first blaze, which terrified me, I'll be honest, because I made my base a lot more out of wood than I had anticipated. So 1 flame, the whole thing could go up. Then I got a Strider at the end of the day, and I wasn't too worried about him, so I just kind of like let him wander around the base, you know, just let him do his thing. The last thing that spawned in was actually a ghast, which just perfectly fit in the cage. And honestly, it was terrifying yet satisfying at the same time. And now day 56 to 57, it's back to mining, and this time nothing really exciting happened. No, I'm just playing. No, I got a lava bucket, which means I'm actually going to make a cobblestone generator, baby. I went to go set up a platform near the tree farm, but don't worry, there wasn't any wood that's close enough for the lava to catch on fire. Lava to catch on fire? I mean the wood, the lava to... You guys know what I mean. Then I decided it was worth the investment of most of my iron to make a bunch of hoppers so that this thing could be fully automatic. So then I smelted down a bunch of glass because I wanted to make this entire thing out of glass so that you could be able to look at it and it looks really cool, and then you know your eyes will be happy. And then bam, a working cobblestone generator. So on day 58, I pretty much just spent the entire day auto mining. Yep, it's feeling so good right now. But now that we got all that cobblestone, it was finally time to finish the base. Honestly, this isn't my craziest base build by any sort of means, but something about it turned out really well. Something about it blending with the cage below it. I don't know, I'm definitely vibing with it like crazy. And you guys know my weaknesses are roofs. I'm terrible at doing a roof, but this roof turned out nice. Comment down below, what are you guys thinking of the base so far? By that I mean say something nice. Thank you. But on day 64, it was finally time to move into the base. But before I do that, I'm going to need to set up a bunch of chests for all my storage. And after wasting stacks of wood to craft up a bunch of chests, and I even moved a handful of things over from the storage room, I realized that I wasn't planning to have a storage room in this base. Yeah, no, that space where all those chests are, that was supposed to be for an enchantment table. So on day 65, I started off the day by crafting up a brand new diamond pick, since my current one's getting a little old and smelly. But also because I need to start getting through this nether phase, and I can't do that if I'm getting interrupted by all these pigs. I'm also hoping to get a bunch of obsidian so I can finally jump into the nether. Sitting here mining this 1 block is honestly just a tease. But then I had my first nether monster party, and it was honestly terrifying, because there was a whole lot of mobs, including some blazes, and they went straight for my trees, which gave me crazy anxiety. I thought my whole base was going to start burning down. But then it was GG for them, because I ain't letting them get away with burning down my base. Then later on, while mining on day 66, my pickaxe finally broke. And shortly after, a Strider showed up, and he seemed pretty sad about my pickaxe too. But honestly, I couldn't be bothered to keep this guy. Then later that day, some more piglins spawned in for the millionth time, but this time I was actually ready to do some trades, and I had some gold on me. So I was hoping to be able to get some obsidian or maybe some pearls, but they only managed to get 1 trade in before getting zombified, and they gave me some dookie loot. But then finally, at the end of day 66, I got the last piece of obsidian that I need to craft up a portal. So on day 67, I pretty much just spent the entire day getting ready for the nether. Crafted up some fresh armor, built up the portal, and then I kind of just stood around. Honestly, I can't really remember what I did today. I mean, do you guys ever just have those days where you just run around at your base doing nothing? Kind of what happened. But the next morning, it was time to stop relaxing, and it was finally time to jump into the nether, which I got a pretty dookie portal, I'm not gonna lie. It seems like it just plopped me right into a cave. So after getting up and out of that thing, I stumbled across a bastion actually not too far away. So I went to go scoop up some lava nearby so I could be able to fight all the piglin brutes and turn them into bacon. But I'm also trying not to get my bacon cooked, so I was taking this thing nice and slow. I didn't want to rush it because it's down in a cave and I'm not gonna be able to escape very easily. But after getting rid of the piglin brutes in the tower, it was time to claim all my chest loot, which honestly it wasn't that great. I just got some obsidian, a little bit of gold, and some ancient debris. But there already was a bunch of piglins up here, and I did have some gold on me, so I became a pig rancher, and I just got them all down in a hole and started doing some trades. And it was definitely worth it because with what little gold I actually had, I already got some pearls. But now that those trades are done, it's time to climb down this thing and get all the real gold, because luckily this is the housing bastion and this thing has a whole lot of secret gold in it, which made trades pretty nice and easy. Not quick, because I only had 2 piglins unfortunately, but nice and easy. And you know what, while waiting for these trades, actually it's perfect time for a subscribe break. Most of you guys watching right now are currently not subscribed, so if you guys are enjoying the video and you guys want to watch some more of my videos, make sure you guys subscribe. It's free. You guys can always unsubscribe later if you want to. And now let's get back to the nether. After running around through biome after biome, I finally found another bastion. Yeah, not a fortress, what I needed, but a bastion. So the adventure continues, but while fighting a ghast on the edge of the cliff, risking my life, I actually managed to find a fortress. Not the best scenario to get excited, but hey, I'll take it. So after making my way all the way over to it, I looted an abandoned portal right next to it where I got jumped by the bony gang. Then I made my way inside to find a blaze spawner and began farming that thing. And after raiding the nether fortress for all I needed, it was finally time to head home. That is until when I went through my portal and I thought it was game over because there were so many mobs inside the mob grinder, it was causing my game to lag and it scared the crap out of me. I need to turn this thing off somehow. In day 75, I started off the day by smelting down my ancient debris, because it's finally time for me to get my first piece of netherite gear. So I set up a smithing table, slapped my pickaxe on that thing, and I chose to do my pickaxe first because, well, I actually need to mine up a bunch of cobblestone anyways, because I'm running low and I'm going to need it for my next project. And that project is an iron farm, which to build that, I'm going to need a bunch of potatoes to start off with so my villagers can begin breeding. Begin the breeding. But to do that, they're going to need some room. So I'm going to expand their home a little bit by moving my llamas over to the old fox pen. Afterwards, I had to move my infinite water pool over to the farm because I'm deciding to build the iron farm over near the animal pens for some reason. Well, actually, no, it makes sense because it's near the villagers. That's right. So I began building out the platform and I made it completely out of cobble, which I thought looked pretty ugly. But that's fine because I built the entire thing out of bottom slabs anyways. So I tore the whole thing down again and rebuilt it. But now that we have a better looking platform, it was finally time to begin construction. This farm is hands down my favorite starter iron farm because it actually produces a lot of iron. So if you guys want a link to the tutorial for this thing, I'll have it linked in the description. All I needed to do was tower up about 8 blocks, create a platform, and put some beds in it for up to 5 villagers, that is. And I caged it in with some glass so then they could be able to admire the outside world. And then I began luring in villagers with a well-paying job. Gets them every time. Right, Jake? Are we all just villagers? Is this a simulation? Then I gave them some more potatoes so then they could be able to breed up in there while I finish up with working on the section that's going to be spawning in the iron golems. So I walled it all in and then placed down some water that's going to push their face right into some lava, and then bam, it's all done. Well, kinda. I just need some more villagers to spawn in. So yeah, you know, they need to do the hank bank. And while waiting for my villagers to pop out them babies and grow up, I figured I might as well hit the 1 block since it is already day 81 and I do need to get to the last phase pretty soon and I'm still stuck in the nether. And I mean, it's not helping because some blazes are spawning and they're slowing everything down by lighting my base on fire. But luckily I'm a speedrunning legend and I managed to finish off the nether phase by the end of day 82, which then begins the next phase. Idyll. Idyll? No, I have no idea what the heck that's supposed to mean or what phase this is. But regardless, I decided to sample it a little bit before going to bed. And honestly, it just seems like it's a bunch of quartz mixed in with a bunch of everything else from the overworld. But most importantly, it had some diamonds. So I was able to still collect a bunch of diamonds for some gear later. Now, by this point, I've pretty much lost 90% of my brain cells just focusing on hitting this 1 block. So I wanted to do my best to get through this phase. So I sat down and practically non-stop just mined this thing. And now this is a pretty boring phase, I'll be completely honest with you guys. So I decided we might as well just make it an epic montage of me mining, getting some new animals, and fighting for my life. But finally, it was the end of the idle phase and began the desolate land. Now, this actually threw me for a loop, I'm not gonna lie, because I thought this was the end phase. I thought this was gonna be the last phase. Now this means I'm really rushing to mine this block and get to the end. At least this phase does seem like it's stronghold by all the stone bricks, so it just means that we're getting closer. On day 87, I figured I'd take a little bit of break and I'd go check out the iron farm, since I haven't really looked at it yet, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with those results. This thing's pumping out iron. Afterwards, I decided to put the other villagers to work, so I made a lectern to set up a librarian, so I could be able to get a mending book. But ideally, I also wanted him to sell me bookshelves so I could make an enchantment room. But after nearly a whole day of resetting my villager, I decided I might as well just lock in the first mending trade that I can get. And then I threw mending on my pickaxe and healed it up at the mob grinder. And on days 88 to 90, the grind actually begins because I wanted to get a bunch of trades done so I could be able to make a lot of money and I could be able to buy a bunch of bookshelves. So I started off by chopping down tons of trees and get tons of sticks so that I could be able to sell them to a Fletcher and then make tons of emeralds. That's just how stonks work, baby. And then eventually, after getting tons of emeralds, I finally had enough to be able to get all the bookshelves and began setting up my enchantment room. Day 91, I started off by crafting up a diamond sword, a diamond axe, and some diamond booties. And then, of course, I enchanted my sword and I got sharpness and sweeping edge. Then I got unbreaking on my axe with fortune 3, and my booties got unbreaking and protection, which is honestly perfect. Then I went to go close out the day by mining the 1 block. That is until some creepers spawned in and scared the crap out of me. Then I got a wither skeleton spawn egg out of the chest, and well, I mean, he seems to be a little broken, a little stuck, maybe struggling, so I kind of just put him down. Days 92 to 94, I started off by trying to get an efficiency book at the enchantment table so that I could be able to put it on my pickaxe, because I'm a genius and I added a mending book on my pickaxe before I ever did enchantments on it in the first place. Afterwards, it was time to grind the 1 block again, so I could be able to finally get to the end and slay the dragon. So I spent the next few days just mining away. I had some pretty close calls with fighting some cave spiders and a skeleton horse squad. It even tried getting me with a charged creeper, but the 1 block fails every time because we're geniuses and we persevere. And honestly, it seemed like we were pretty unstoppable. I mean, that is until an evoker spawned and it kept spawning in vexes and I got a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. But because there's an evoker, that means that we got a totem, which means that we're even more unstoppable now, especially against these tiny silverfish. And then the monster party for this phase rolled around. They had a few evokers in it, tons of silverfish, and a lot of cave spiders. Luckily though, I was able to take care of all the vexes because I'm an absolute aimer. And then I just kind of shot off the evokers into the void. Then everything else was just cake from there. But after that, it was finally the end of day 94, and it was also the end of this phase, which means on day 95, it's the end. Which I'll be honest, the end phase was a little lackluster. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna bore you with it too much. I mean, when you think of the end, it's literally like 5 different blocks. There's like 3 different mobs. But I will say it was pretty entertaining watching all the little endermites spawn in and come running at me because they'd just march in a straight line. And literally every time they would spawn, there was just more and more of them. But one miracle is that when I went to go drop some stuff off at the storage room, I heard a chicken cry out for help in the mob grinder because it was actually a chicken jockey. So I made my way over to it, popped the block open, and it spewed out a bunch of baby zombies. I can't believe it. We actually got another chickpea in this world. That's actually insane. But unfortunately, he's gonna have to live in the pig cage because, well, there's not much room anywhere else for him right now. But then we got back to work on the 1 block, and luckily after fighting like 5 shulkers, I managed to finally get 2 shulker shells, which means I was able to make a shulker box. Just something to add in there that felt accomplishing. But then the end phase finally ended on day 98, and it spawned in the end portal for me. But of course, I wanted to see what the next phase was going to be, and it turns out that there's an after phase where it will continuously just randomly generate a bunch of block forever and ever, which is nice to know so that if we ever continue this series. So if you guys want to see the series continue, make sure you guys drop a like on this video. Maybe we get this up to, let's say, 100 likes for 200 days, eh? Anyways, on day 99, I spent the day just preparing for the Ender Dragon fight. Started off by crafting up a diamond chest plate so I could be able to enchant it and then also turn it into a netherite chest plate, which is pretty epic. Then I also made myself some fresh iron armor to fill in for my head and my legs. And of course, I gotta enchant that stuff too. Then day 100 came around and it was finally time to slay the dragon. But of course, not without saying my goodbyes to everyone, since I may never even come back. Goodbye, sheep that somehow managed to survive literally everything. Goodbye, llama that lost his friend because his only friend was a traveling merchant llama and those things despawn, so I'm sorry, that kind of sucked. And of course, chickpea. Wait, hold on, actually. Gotta give him a name tag real quick. Chickpea 3.0. He's better in every single way. And then of course, I decided to let my villagers out so that they could be able to take care of everyone while I'm gone. But it was time. I had to go to the end. I filled in the end portal and I jumped in. It was finally time to defeat the dragon. And honestly, beating the dragon was the last thing that I had time for to do in this world. So how about we just make it an epic battle montage? hope you guys enjoyed this 100 days. Like I said, it was an insane amount of work. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you guys smash that like button to let me know that this was a banger video. Also hit subscribe to join the PaulGG army so you guys could even participate and join in future videos. But for now, I will see you guys in the next one.